In today's show, we discuss the Chinese social credit system. What is it, and should we adopt it?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you're keeping safe and well.
What the hell, Tony? What you gonna do, eh?
Come on, I don't need to prompt you anymore.
You don't actually. Hello,
Okay.
audience. How are
Yeah!
you? I'm looking forward to sharing this with you because
Oh, please, no, not Dr. Henry. No, no, spare me.
look, man. Let me
I
hit my
thought we should
stride.
cut this
Let me
out.
get into. Let me get cut into my stride already. What is this? Look, no, I mean you're making him look like I'm kidding around. I'm not. Listen to this. This is from the great and wonderful Dr. Isaiah Henry Mayatamba. For he who walks backwards through the village at dusk, the sun will set twice. For he who walks backwards through the village at dusk, the sun will set twice. Wow. Amazing. What? Why are you laughing?
Nonsense. It's utter nonsense.
It's actually, I laid a trap for you.
Go on.
This has very much got to do with what we're going to discuss today. Very much to do with it.
I'm really intrigued, and I'll ask
Yes.
our wonderful audience once I give you the title of today's show,
Mhm.
how you think that statement by Dr. Isaiah Henry sort of segues into what we're going to talk about. But
Good.
we shall see.
Because all this time you've been laughing, and I've been telling you that actually there are nuggets of wisdom in these words, but you refuse to see them. So let us proceed.
Refuse to see them.
Yes.
I'm looking and I can't find any.
It's right there, right in front of you. It's Zen. It's Zen. It's the Zen. It's the
dear.
African Zen, or Nigerian Zen, anyway.
Anyway, let's move on. Before we reveal the topic for today, I want to continue to ask our wonderful audience out there, whatever platform you happen to consume our content on, to continue to like, comment, and subscribe. We love you for it. We will get back to you if you do comment on whatever platform you're on. But as I've said before on other shows, if you can comment directly on the TNT Talker Show, which is a group on Facebook, we will respond immediately because that's an opportunity for you to chat directly with Taya and I, and you can talk directly and we can answer you directly. So that's the beauty of that platform. However, if you're not a Facebook follower, then continue to comment, like, and obviously subscribe on whatever platform you happen to consume our content on. Okay. Today's topic, and I'm asking you, the audience, see what you think, how this correlates with what Tayo has just said. Today's topic is the Chinese social credit system. First off, what is it, and should we adopt it? Right, Tayo, I'm going to ask you to, I mean, this is my topic, strangely, but
So I think you should say, the serious stuff about what is it and all that. Go ahead and tell us, because you're always better at framing things than I am. So
okay. China have got a social credit system. Now, if you're familiar with our financial credit system that we have here, Experian, you may have, those of you in the UK may have seen Experian adverts where we all have a credit score. Other countries have a similar score to assess your credit rating. Now, what China are doing and implementing, although they haven't fully implemented it everywhere, is a equivalent to that called a social credit system, where you as an individual as well as companies get points based on what you're like in society. So basically, how good you are as a citizen. If you're in a company, how ethical do you operate as a company? Do you pay your staff on time? Do you make deals with other companies that equally got a high score? And these numbers can fluctuate up and down depending on what you do as an individual. So if you're not a great citizen and you litter or you smoke in public or you do daft things like take a dog out without putting it on a lead, your score is affected and the numbers reduce. So that means you get less opportunity in society. Whereas if you're a model citizen, you do your best, you pay your bills and taxes on time, you work hard, you contribute, you get a high credit rating. So more things are then open to you. And that's the essence of this system.
Yeah, well done.
Okay. What's your view?
I think that there are so many good things about it that we have to consider it. We really must. For example, who wouldn't want instant gratification for good behavior? Imagine a world where simply being a decent human being earns you perks like discounts on your energy bills or priority service at your local cafe, just for being a good person. There was this discussion we had. We ended up in hysterics where you said you thought that the government could pay people just walk around smiling.
Yeah.
Well,
I,
remember
I
that?
that was meant in jest.
Well, that's good because we cracked up, and I think we were laughing for 2 minutes. I had tears streaming down my cheeks. But here you don't get paid in cash, but you get paid in social credit. And if you walk around making people happy with your presence or whatever, I don't know how that's going to work, but your social credit will rise and you get perks. So sour faces like me, we'd be in trouble. But you happy-go-lucky optimist people like you, instead of being castigated by people like me, the opposite effect. Your social credit will be up there, and I'll be losing points, and you'll be scoring points left, right, and center forward. What's not to love there?
Well, in in the theoretical sense, of
Hmm.
course, if you
Yeah,
do good deeds in society, then you get benefits. And if you're a hindrance to society or you're negative and but some of the things being considered on the lists are a little bit impactful on people's civil liberties. Let's say, for instance, things happen that are out of your control, but
hmm.
you get affected for it.
Give
Let's
me an
say,
example. Hmm?
I'll give it could be many examples. Let's say, I don't know, mistaken identity.
Oh, that'll be fixed. I mean, that happens now. If Yeah, it kind of happens now. I mean, just because you're white doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, man. I mean, it happens to black people all the time. You say you're looking for a tall black man, and I happen to be walking down there. I admit, in certain areas where there are very few tall black men, it's going to take me quite a long time to explain that I am not the person they're looking for. It happens.
But
If you,
in a Western society, you've got more recourse. You can hire a lawyer. You can.
well, I'm sure in China they're not a
Yeah,
bunch of
I know they're
yahoos. There
not,
must be
but there's
recourse.
there's less opportunity for you to defend your position. The
I
state,
don't know. I
the
can't speak to
state
that.
has overall, what is it like? It's like, I mean, some Arab countries and Muslim countries have the same issue where the final say rests with the upper echelons of power, and
Hmm.
they will say yes or no whether or not you will get let free or not. Just because they say so. And there's an element of
I
this
think
here
I think that would
rather than
fall.
justice.
I think that would fall under the fallacy of false equivalence. And in a social credit system, you just have lost about 60 points or something because that's false equivalence. The idea that you can't redress a mistaken identity or score, or whatever it is, or credit score, is ultimately, you yourself have said they are not Yahoo. The Chinese are not Yahoos. They will have a process. It might not be frictionless, but there will be a process to say that's not me. That wasn't. I wasn't the one who was there. By the way, Chinese society is becoming more and more heavily surveilled with exceptional levels of AI.
Indeed.
Apparently, they can tell who you are even if you're wearing sunglasses and things.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty pretty amazing. So actually, how
Pretty big
often?
brother and horrible, really. Not amazing. That's a
Well,
negative dystopian
I've
view.
always said, you know what? Someone was saying to me, "Oh, you want to buy a Chinese car? Oh, you better watch out for the onboard computer." And I'm like, "Why? Look, anybody who's going to be spying on me is wasting their time because they're letting the terrorists go by, and they're gonna die of boredom. That's going to be because I have nothing. I don't care. See, I mean, who
Okay.
cares? To be honest,
Let me give you another hypothetical
don't give me.
example and see
Mm-hmm.
what you think of this. You're in society and you're minding your own business,
Yeah.
but a new criteria, remember, who sets the criteria of this social system? Who sets it?
Well,
The
we should.
powers that be. You won't have a say in it. They can decide. Now, in argument's sake, let's say a hypothetical scenario that they say that all, I don't know, all particular genders have to be treated in a particular manner, no matter what. So if someone says, I want to be, I resonate as being an attack helicopter, you have to respect them in the same manner as other human beings, even though clearly they have some deranged issue mentally. But, equality, you have to treat them that way. So or okay, another better example, religion. There you go. Let's say they said you get more points if you follow this religion rather than this religion. You now are hampered if you've got a particular faith that isn't viewed by the system as beneficial. Your belief system. What are you going to do? You're going to change so you can get more credit points? You are forever going to be stuck in a particular level. So certain things are not going to be available to you based on your belief system. So you can see it can be mistreated because who sets the levels? It's not like it's put out as a referendum to the public who then come up with these levels.
Well,
It's
maybe it should
made by
be.
decisions in
I think
yeah.
you're getting hung up on the details of implementation. And I don't think you should. Look, let me give you another benefit. Have you ever been in a lift where someone has farted?
uh,
Wouldn't it be great if the three of you
I
just
put my
pointed to
hand
the
up. I've
person?
been the farter.
Oh my God. So the three of us would just point him and go, social credit system. I mean, for me, farting a lift is the ultimate insult. Do you know what you do? You're forcing us to breathe in your blooming fart. What kind of dastardly act is that anyway? It's very close to
Let me,
child murder, in my
no, no,
opinion.
no, it's not.
I
Shouldn't
mean,
be.
very,
You
very
know what
close to it.
happened? I'll give you the tell
What?
you what happened, right? I
No
dressed,
excuses,
I was
man.
in the lift on my own and it was in
Oh,
the evening.
mm.
And I thought, oh, goodness me, I really need to go to the loo. So I thought, oh, there's only me in the lift. I'm going up to the eighth floor from
you
the
never,
ground
you
floor.
never do that.
I know, well, I let one out. And then all of a sudden, the lift opened at the first floor. I thought, oh, I wasn't expecting that. There's no one else in the building. And two people walked in and I could see their faces. And I'm like,
No, it's not so much that. I mean, first of all, you never do that. You never assume that you will be the only person in the lift. And aren't you lucky? It wasn't some pretty woman that you've been eyeing up for a while. She opened the thing. So anyway, no, I'm talking about
I
people
was
who
young back then, I have to
who you
say.
who are in the lift with you already,
Oh,
and
okay.
you just go, well, you know what? And then you just let it hang out. It's just like what?
Okay. What's
Yeah.
the link here?
So the link is that your social credit, something more serious than harsh stares, should you should be punished with something a lot more serious than
As
just
as farting in a lift, I would not move and remove someone's liberties based on
no.
that.
I don't mind throwing you from a high place, man. It's to me, it's the end
Okay.
of the world. It's very close to the end of the world.
What if it gets to the point of like what we're doing here? We're freely speaking
Mhm.
about things. What if this social credit system included words that we are saying now?
Well,
Then we've
you.
lost that
I've not
freedom
said
of
anything
speech.
that you shouldn't mean.
What? What in the past? They
Oh, in
can
the
play our
past. Oh,
recordings.
in the
Yeah,
past. Yeah.
exactly.
But once it becomes, then I'll be like, well,
Yeah, but
and
some of our
besides which, look,
freedoms,
sorry,
some of the
look,
freedoms that you're accustomed to will be eroded and
I don't know
removed.
what you're talking about freedoms that I'm accustomed to. I say a lot of things on social media, and I'm constantly waiting for a knock on the door. And I'm not even kidding. I'm constantly waiting for someone to knock on the door and say I've been accused of a hate speech or whatever. So far, I think I got black privilege because they're not because I think other people. I mean, that poor woman in Manchester. What did she say? Said something a little injudicious, but it wasn't a big palaver of a thing. Just say that she thought some guy was a guy. She should call him sir or something rather than ma'am or whatever he wanted to be called. And now she went to prison for 6 weeks or something.
How did she get to prison for saying that? Surely.
It's hate crime. I'll look it up for you. It's a blooming hate crime. She's been done for hate crime in Britain in 2024.
For
It's
calling a guy who looked like a guy, sir,
yes,
when he wanted to be called
Miss
madam
or
or miss.
Madam Miss, what? Yeah,
What? And she got done for that.
she got absolutely blooming done for it. So
There's
freedom of
more to that
speech.
story. That's
No,
mad.
well, I don't. But I'll tell you what. We'll find the link in the course of this thing.
Okay.
So it's already happening, man, and we're hitting people like that, but we're letting the lift farters go. And we've got to have a more consistent stratagem. This is where I'm coming from. And also, have you thought about this? On social media, I exchange insults with other people, right? But because I'm usually on the conservative side of things, and the people I'm insulting are usually on
The left.
the so-called progressive side of things, they have a lot of protection. This was before Elon Musk took over Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X, because nowadays it seems that it's kind of leveling out a bit. But there was a time when every time I opened my mouth, I'd get done, I'd get banned, I'd get shadow banned, and the other people who were saying equally horrible things would get away with it scot free. With social credit system, hopefully all that would level out, and we will be forced to be more respectful, because a lot of times someone sets me off is I've told you before, I don't attack people with insults and so on. I only respond. If everyone would just make an argument and not attack the person behind the argument, wouldn't that be a great social media environment for all
Of
of us?
course, of course.
Well,
It's
there we are then.
normally when your argument doesn't stand it doesn't stand up properly that you revert to insulting the deliverer
I
of the
don't, but other
message.
people do.
Indeed, indeed.
Hmm.
But the point is, there should be nothing triggering you. You let the trigger you.
No, that's a shoot thing. So
No, it is
it's better
because,
if we just have the social credit score system. Everybody self-regulates,
yeah, but it's,
but on a level playing field. You see?
but okay. How would I mean? Let's say that something like this would could be considered.
Hmm.
Who would set the parameters? How would they be policed? Who would make sure you get higher points? It just, to me, it's just a step too far. I get it when you're dealing with finance, you need some sort of score, credit worthiness, so that because you're borrowing money, money needs to be paid back. That I get. But how you behave, that's
Hmm.
why we're in a free society. You should be able to be free to act how you want to within the parameters of the law. And the laws are created by the people who have been voted into power. And we got some sort of accountability there. But in China, you're not voting those people who make these laws into power. They don't have that. So if you don't like some of the laws, you can say, well, I don't like that politician who's supposed to represent me. I'll vote him out next time and put someone in that does.
I'm astonished to hear you say that, Tony. When I said the same thing about the EU, you told me that I am I vote in people who then go on to vote in the people that represent me at the EU level. Same thing in China. You vote in your local council, your village council. They vote in the county council. The county council votes in the province council. The province council votes in the federal council. So it's exactly like the EU. You said the
No, it's
EU is
not exactly
democratic.
like the EU. That's
Well,
several stages removed.
yeah, well,
You
what
don't
the hell,
have
right?
no, but that's not how it works for us. We have direct involvement in the
What
individual.
directs?
Yeah, we
Who's
do.
von der Leyen? Who voted her into anything?
No, the MPs that we
Yeah.
voted her in.
No, okay. So
So we are just one step. They've
no,
got
no, no.
several
Sorry. What?
steps.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. The MPs that you voted von der Leyen. No,
Yeah,
I don't think that's how it works. But
that is
anyway,
how it works.
yeah, I no.
That is
I
how it
think
works.
I smell a rat there,
No,
the
that
big
is how
one.
it works.
Uh,
We have
a huge
when we
rat.
were in the EU, we had European members of parliament, and we had to vote them. We voted them in, our representatives in the European Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
And they then voted their executive, which is where von der Leyen is. Bit like our House of Parliament. We don't vote a prime minister. We vote for our local MP. Our local MP within the party then votes for a prime minister and the executive branch. We don't vote who goes into the executive branch of our government. That's all done within Parliament. And the same happens in the EU. But in China, going back to China with this system, the high ranking officials do have to work their way up the system,
Oh
but they're not
yeah.
voted in. They're not voted in.
I think they are voted in.
They're
I
not
believe
voted in.
yes, they have the yes because what's his name? President Xi. He had to stand for re-election. I mean, nobody stood against him, but they could have said like no. They didn't want him. I mean, this is how they got rid of what was his name? Chow En Lai, something like that, or was that the Taiwanese guy? Anyway, I'm a bit fuzzy on the details. I don't want to say anything I shouldn't be saying. I've looked up your von der Leyen,
Yeah.
and she was re-elected by a secret ballot. A secret ballot. Well, I suppose that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It says here, but re-election was supported by the political family. Anyway, not relevant to what we're talking about.
No.
We might have to come back and discuss that at another time. So what we've got here is a system, and why I support it, a system that instead of using a financial credit score, it's all wrapped into this social credit score of yours. In other words, if you hit a rocky patch, as you know we all do, and then during that rocky patch, things are a bit difficult, making your bills, whatever, you can look at your social credit score and go, well, this is really a stand-up guy, really. And you can talk to people about it, and you can be given Lebensraum. And unlike what happens with your credit score, your financial credit score, based on the fact that we know that you are, and for the last 20 years, you've been a stand-up guy, the system can be more malleable.
You're not punished as severely as if you'd been a
or as instantly.
Guy. Yeah.
You see? So another benefit. And all I'm seeing everywhere is just benefits, man,
Okay.
to be honest.
The societal trustworthiness. See, that's fine. Are you a trustworthy individual? But it's made up of so many parameters. It's not just whether you pay your bills on time. It's also some of it is devotion to your family.
Excellent.
How do you quantify that? How?
Well, do you come home drunk most nights? That's a problem. Do you beat up your wife? Do you henpeck your husband?
Well, part of that, exactly. They're listening in.
Yeah,
if you're shouting at another person,
yeah,
and if you shout at your children, you're punished.
Yeah, because you shouldn't.
The child is burning the house down.
No. That's what the slipper is for. Remember?
Yeah, but you can't do that.
What, in China?
In China, I don't know, but you certainly wouldn't be able to do that here.
Well, we'll have to change that. So, because we got no shouting. I agree with you, no shouting, because I'm trying to get some sleep. and the people next door are busy yelling their heads off in the middle of the night, that's really upsetting. Or how about this? Loud music. Loud, listen, loud, I haven't finished. Loud rap music. Loud hip hop music in the middle of the night. What is this? If you're going to play loud music, play music. What is this nonsense you're playing? Or what's the name of that blooming woman now? Everybody loves it.
Taylor Swift.
Oh my God! Or someone's playing Taylor Swift on loop. You just knock on the door and just say, social credit score. Look, there's so many benefits.
But the point is, you know what's really crazy about this?
Mm-hmm.
You don't even need the law enforcement to do it. This is the problem, because how it also works is integrated with AI. So the scores are created and amended by AI. So
Fantastic.
if AI
So it should be
knew,
unbiased.
well, some of it could be not attributed to you. This is the problem. How do they get some of these scorings from you unless you are being watched 24/7 by some device? Could be your phone, could be sensors in the house, and you know, what happens? You go to the toilet and you're spending too long in the toilet. Is this some of the new systems? Oh, he's not eating well because he's in the toilet for an hour. Oh dear, your credit rating's come down. No, but you know what I mean? Some people spend and
read. How do you do in the toilet for an hour?
I read. I read in a newspaper.
Even I'm like, what?
I'm exaggerating an hour, but you know what I mean? You're in the toilet. You could be reading your phone. You're reading the newspaper.
That's what your sofa is for. That's antisocial. That's nonsensical. That's bad behavior. I'm all in favor. Reading the toilet. Other people want to go to the goddamn toilet, man. How dare you be in there for an hour? What do you think we're doing out here? It seems to me that more and more, the more I talk to you, Tony, I'm suspecting that the social credit thing is been built for you
against me.
Yeah.
The only time I know when I've been in the loo too long is that my legs have gone dead. So
no, yeah. I got to be honest with you. You're not. What is the word I'm looking for?
Selling it to you as a negative.
You're not selling it to me as a negative at all. It's beginning to sound really, really, because all these little bugbears of mine that I have.
Okay.
People not letting you into traffic. Because we all know what the rule is. It's one for you, for your row, one for my lane. One for your lane, one for my lane. And then you get some people who are like, no, I'm not going to let you in. This is like, I wish there was an app. You just go like that, and and the person goes, "Oh no, my social credit score."
Yes. Yeah, but that gives you the power. What if someone wanted to gripe against you?
Yeah, but you have to show, because nothing. I'm giving 1-to-1. Am I not?
Well,
I'm complaining because I play by the rules, and it upsets me when I see people who don't play by the rules. Another one. Another one that really gets my goat, because I actually have a blue badge. People who don't have a blue badge and they park in the blue badge bay.
I know.
That
so winds me up, and I don't even park in now. I often look at cars and go, "You haven't got a blue badge."
Exactly.
You can tell. Just for the benefit of our non-UK viewers and listeners, blue badges is a badge you get given if you are incapacitated in some way, or you have a disability, and you need to park closer to buildings and services. So you have special bays allocated for blue badge holders. So if somebody is struggling walking, bad back, they can apply for one of these things, and you then have to show it in your car display windscreen, so that if traffic wardens are walking past, they can see that you're permitted to park in those designated bays. However, as Ty has pointed out, you get a lot of numpties out there who think, "Oh, there's a free space. I'll rack up and pull up in there. I'm only going to be 5 minutes," but you're taking that spot away from someone who genuinely needs it. So I'm with you there. I think that's out of order. But that could be fixed by having a camera in all these spots. And if your badge is not visible,
they do have cameras, and I've reported a couple of people to the authorities, and they said they got nothing to do with it because of private land. So, for example, at supermarkets.
Really?
So, well, that's private land. There's nothing to do with us. We're the council. We only do it on public land. You have to speak to the owner, to the store. and you speak to the store and they go, well, it's just for convenience sake, really. We don't really do
Enforce
anything.
it.
We don't enforce it.
Oh,
So if it was social credit score, yeah, that would be great. What about people who jump the queue?
yeah,
That's not so usual in Britain, thank goodness. But if you've ever commuted in and out of London, and unfortunately at the train station, yeah, people
yeah,
just they're just cutting ahead of you as if
yep.
as if you're nobody.
I know.
Again, just camera out like that,
Well, it
and it'll
happens on the
stop.
motorway as well. When you have speed limits 50 or 60 because they're working, I'm always amazed that there's certain cars that feel they're exempt. I think, do they get caught? I would love to know they
Um,
got caught.
yeah, actually,
You're one of them.
I'm one of them. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you
You
what
know,
it
say
is.
we quickly brush over that one.
No, what I will tell you is this. I want to answer your question actually.
Okay.
So don't they get caught? You eventually work out what the leeway is. There is a leeway. So in a 50, you don't have to do exactly 50 if you catch my drift. But I'm not going to tell people what it is because I don't want to encourage them. But yes, by trial and error, I found out, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, but it's not speed limits now, it's average speed
Yeah, I
limit.
know. I'm telling you can do this on average, and it's
You
okay.
see, you're pushing the boundaries.
I'm
And this
pushing the
is the
boundary.
problem.
But if people were if people were winding down the windows and doing this with their cameras, what do you think I'd do? Immediately, I'm going to just toe the party
Slow
line.
down.
Yeah,
You
it's
see,
it's social justice. All of us looking after all of us. It's all of
well,
us.
yeah, but okay, look at some of the social justice that you dislike now. Like, for
Mhm.
instance, social justice, why some of people who claim to be woke, yeah,
Identity
and also
politics
people
kind
who
of
are
thing.
woke, they're saying that you are offending this demographic based on some of the words you say. So that's impairing on freedom of
Guess what
speech.
we could do? Guess what we could do though with social
Go on.
credit score? Say, do you know what? You woke people, you are the problem. Here, camera. You see? You
Yeah,
see?
but
And if
they
enough of
won't
us,
be. But
if
they
enough,
won't
but
be.
they're not, they were never in the majority. They were a minority. They were a very noisy minority who because of the noise they were making, they actually herded the rest of us. And we didn't have an avenue to just turn around and say, actually, we're in the majority. And if we had done that, they'd have shut up.
So you're saying that this social credit system could actually no, but that's that you see, that's
I'm saying that
subjective,
the
isn't
man
it?
who walks backwards,
Oh no.
I'm saying that the man who walks backwards at dusk through the village, right, will invite the sunset twice on him. Once because the sun actually goes down, and the second time, not that kind of sun, but the sun of his reputation that will go down too. Do you see now the majesty of the brilliance of Dr. Isaiah Henry? That's what he was saying. The sun will go down twice. But you don't bother to think, you don't want to get to the zen
Nonsense.
of it.
I wanted to use one of your euphemisms here, but I
What
thought, you see, I'm not like you. I can hold it back. My social credit score won't be affected, but yours would come down by
let me
using those words.
I am not the one who you prevented me from being robust in my language, and now you would have been able to say, do you know what, that's a load of, yeah, and now you can't let it all
I
out.
can't, because if we implement this social credit system, I won't be able to say it, and certainly not on air.
It's not that you can't say it, it's that you're going to take a hit.
Yeah, you'll take a hit. That's the
But
point.
you don't have to. You might agree. You can take a hit a year or something.
Yeah,
You can
but
just.
did you? But the social credit system in China, they say that once your credit score has taken a hit, it's only 2 years only before it can be reviewed. So in 2 years, you've got 2 years of pain because of something you may have said inadvertently, even that affects your social credit score. Now, that is too draconian. There
Yeah.
must be
Okay.
ways of perhaps challenging it without it being too negative, because
Mhm.
you've got to look at them in isolation as well. because could there be factors involved? That's why the judicial system is in place for laws, because the law, yes, it's there as a framework, but why is it why is it if someone breaks that particular law, different sentences are given for the same law? It's because of the other factors involved. But if you've got a credit system like this, which was only based on, doesn't matter, you said that phrase, doesn't matter what context, you said that phrase. That's it. You've lost points in the credit system, which isn't right. So it's got a lot of failings, as well as maybe you could look at it as some positives, but there are failings too. I mean, I quite like the angle where they have it against businesses. So, for instance, if a business pays its taxes on time, gets good scores, if it maintains any licenses it needs, so it can operate, that's a good trait. So you're functioning properly, you're treating your staff well, you're making sure your products are delivered on time and a particular standard. You're using all the, I don't know, the criteria for your particular industry. These are good because you then have, A listed companies, you have B listed companies, and you got C listed companies, and each one can move up and down based on how they operate. And you hope that the majority are aspiring to be in the A grade. So they're trustworthy. You can deal with them. That's what a credit score is. And I get that. But social? Well, I mean, it's subjective. People are emotional creatures. You could have a good day, or you get some bad news. You might be feeling low. Someone talks to you and you snap. Oh, because you've had an emotional issue that very day. A family member's passed away, or been diagnosed with something, or you've had a project at work that's not worked properly, and you're down. Then someone talks to you and you say something out of turn because you're affected emotionally, then your credit score's messed up for 2 years because of that. That's hardly fair. So putting these sort of point systems on individuals and how they behave to that extent is too much. It's draconian. It's 1984 being Big Brother. That's my opinion.
I think you may not know the full details of the Chinese social credit score system. I just had a look at it, and it says there is no universal social credit score system. The Chinese government does not operate a nationwide social credit score system.
It hasn't been fully implemented.
It doesn't operate one. What it has is got private credit initiatives, and there are guidelines which are being developed. So
yeah, it's an evolution. It's not there
it's
fully
an evolution, yeah. But it does seem to have some kind of legal backing, because apparently when you are notified that something has happened to your social credit score, you've actually got 10 days to appeal the decision. So you've got 10 days to say something about it, and if you don't, then there could be issues. And in some cases, it doesn't say what, in some cases, individuals can request a review from a higher authority than the actual issuing court. So this is from Wikipedia, and I'll send you the link.
Well, we'll share it in our blurb. I've got one.
I'm going to send you. Well. Oh, you've got it. Have you got it?
No, I haven't got that one. No, but I have got a different one. I mean, I'll give you one that I've researched and found. Some of the elements that they're considering and have already implemented is travel bans. If your credit score, if you're blacklisted because you've done something in society which is deemed not great, then you're prevented from traveling. You're also prevented.
I'm very, very much in agreement with that.
No, I don't think that's a bad one.
For people who snap their gum.
Snap their gum.
Those
what, they people, go or something with a gum.
They got this thing and they make it crack.
Yeah.
Usually women. And it's like, what are you doing? So lifetime ban. You do that, lifetime. No, you Keep it. In fact, I would go further. Anybody who chews chewing gum at all. I mean, Brazil, I believe, has banned it.
Some places have banned. I know they're
This
banned
Brazil, is it
in the
something in
Far East.
South?
No, it's
No,
Singapore, I
South
think.
America. Oh,
Singapore.
and Singapore. Oh
Singapore.
yeah, absolutely, Singapore.
Yeah.
Because I think just someone just got someone issue one day. Right,
This
I'm
is
headed to
disgusting.
Parliament now,
Yeah.
and they went straight to Parliament and said, "What is this? What is? Oh, goodness
What
gracious
I
me!"
do dislike about some of this scoring is, did you know that if a parents have a poor credit score based on something that they've done,
Hmm.
the students, the kids, are not permitted to go to certain schools. So, which I think is unfair that the
Well, who's paying
kids,
for it?
how do you mean?
Well, is it I mean, what do you mean by can't go to certain
They
school?
can't, they're denied entry to certain universities. So they can go to university, but not necessarily the ones that
Because of
they
their
make
parents' bad
because
credit
of their
score.
parents' credit score.
Is it that the parents they don't believe the parents will be able to pay or something?
No, it's because,
Is university free or what?
yeah, the university's free in China. You don't pay to go to university, but you then cannot attend in those particular ones because it's like a punishment for the family for having credit
And you have a
score.
link to that.
I have a link to that. Yes, I do.
I'm going to want to see that.
I
That
will
that sounds
share
kind of
that. I
peculiar.
will share that. Also,
Yeah.
reduced employment prospects, for instance.
Well,
The
nobody wants an
blacklists,
oink
yeah.
coming to
Yeah,
work
but
with them,
that
so
then
that's
really
fine.
limits because you could have had an indiscretion, like I said, something has been accused of you. Let's say, for instance, argument's sake, you're in a poor relationship with a partner, and we'll use a male and female example here so that we can keep it fairly central. Let's say it's a poor breakup
Mm.
because it happens, breakups happen, but it hasn't gone to plan. You got discrepancies about income, blah blah blah. That could be deemed as viewed badly, so your credit score could be affected by it because you haven't split up amicably. You've split up, maybe you didn't love your partner anymore, or maybe you had a disagreement, and because people change, emotions change throughout a married life, whereas you loved them in the beginning and maybe not so later. So your credit score is affected because you've broken up the marriage.
Mm.
I mean, that's like, whoa. So you're no longer permitted to stay with someone who could be abusing you in your marital home. You've had enough. You want to get out. So it's not anything you've done wrong, but you're being mentally abused by having to put up with the relationship. So you want to leave, doesn't matter. You're leaving a marital home, your credit rating is affected. So then you could even lose your job because your credit score has dropped. You could have been blacklisted because that is part of the scoring system, that if you go too far down, you get blacklisted. And as soon as you get blacklisted, it's like a spiral dropping down. To try and get yourself back out of that is very, very difficult. You may be able to struggle to get places to live, jobs to apply for. They won't even look at you because they can check your credit score. So you are trying to improve your situation, but you can't. You're hampered and you are controlled. And the final one, which I thought is appalling, you also get public shaming. If you're in a black zone, blacklisted for too long, you get
There's a
shamed.
lot of black being
I
mentioned
know,
there.
I know. I don't like that term, but it's a term that's linked to a negative consequence. I don't
Actually,
know
in
where.
China, is red listing.
Yes, red listing is another term. Yeah, absolutely. That is also
Yeah,
used.
they don't say blacklisting, they say red listing.
Red listing.
Mm.
Yes. I'm
Anyway,
transferring it to our listing,
that
but yeah.
was our blacklisting.
Yes.
Racists. Okay. Anyway, anyway.
You see, these are negative consequences of this social credit
Well,
system. It's
so
too
let me see
far.
what you're saying. On the one hand, farts and lifts. On the other hand, public shaming. On the one hand, people who snap their gum sitting next to you. On the other hand, you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Come see, come saw.
Uh,
I think we just all need to be a little bit more careful with the people we marry,
well,
or maybe not get married at all, which is the MGTOW way anyway. So bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, I'm still gonna go with the
right.
let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this social credit thing because I can see a lot of positives. Yes, I can see a few negatives. For example, what are my negatives here? Privacy. There's no way you can have proper privacy in such
No.
a system because we have to big brother you basically. We have
Yeah.
to look at everything you're doing. And I'm not actually a big one for privacy because am I a big one for privacy? Am I? I'm not really sure I am. I'm a big one for freedom of speech, but I'm not really a big one for privacy.
Well, what happens in your own home? I think that you should be allowed to be private in your own home, whatever you do in your own home.
Yeah,
Outside of your own
I
home,
think that's just
you're
been
open.
because
You're
we don't give a
open.
rat's ass. I think that's probably the best. Where we you can do what you like in your home because we really don't care.
Yeah.
Remember, I marched in the 70s for what is it? What would you call
Women's
it nowadays?
rights.
Sorry?
Women's rights.
No, I wasn't that crazy, man. Come on.
That's a
I
bit
wasn't a
harsh.
loony. I marched
That's
for
terrible.
the freedom sexual what's it called now? Sexual liberation? No, not liberation. Was it?
Emancipation? No?
Yeah, the homosexuals basically.
Oh, wow. Freedom of
Yeah.
sex, basically,
Yeah. Because
within
what
reason.
was
Adults.
my rule was this, and it is still my rule. What consenting adults do in private is their business. I don't want to know.
Yes,
I'm not interested.
correct.
Nothing to do with me. But it's come out now from the bedroom, and that's why it's got something to do with me now. Because you've brought it and presented it to me, and you're pushing it into my face, whether I want it or not. So now we've got a problem. Now we've got a quarrel. But ultimately, if it's in your bed, if it's in your house, and by the way, consenting adults,
Yeah,
no minors, anything, or
yeah,
anybody who isn't consenting,
yeah,
then who cares?
yeah. It should be who cares, indeed. So if there's some boundaries around that, then that's not a problem. But you don't need a social system to enforce it. So to ensure that that is actually what's going on. But unfortunately, the prevalence of AI, which can, what's the word I'm looking for? It
Become
can,
invasive.
well, it can permeate different places in real time, can't it? It can see something happening in real time and then affect it immediately. And
Mm.
so, but to get that, it needs to have sensors
Well,
and it
we're
has to
talking about
hear, it has to
implementation.
speak.
This is all arguments about implementation.
Yeah.
The fundamental idea is that fundamentally, you got a lot of positives as I see it. You do have problems like inequality could become systemic. For example, what is the is it Hindi or just cultural, just Indian culture of the caste system? I don't know if it's based on the Hindu religion or is it an Indian thing?
I
I don't
think
know.
it's to do, is it not also an element of skin color as well?
No,
Because,
is yeah, but no, the caste system. Why do they have the caste system? Is it religion through Hinduism or is it cultural? That's what I'm saying. I don't really
yeah,
know,
yeah, I
but
see.
I do know that India does have this caste system. And what is that? But an inherited social credit score, and one that is next to well nigh impossible to get out of. And it is effect. That is, in my opinion, that is why India will never beat China in economically because 60% of the population isn't allowed to do this or isn't allowed to
Yeah.
do that. That's not going to
Well,
work.
whether it's allowed, I think it's more that they are not, it's not the prevented, they have more obstacles to overcome. So
Hmm.
it's not that they can't try, it's just that the doors
I
are
think
slamming
some of them
shut.
can't. Depending the untouchables, for example, they
Well,
can't do
that's a
anything.
lower class of people that they deem, which is a terrible thing, really. Although there have been some positive stories of people who have got out of that class,
Hmm.
although they're few and far between. They've had to go through massive challenges, massive obstacles, but they have managed to do it. Whereas opportunity to people who are in a higher caste
Hmm.
are more open. And this is the problem, though. This social system is almost bringing a an equal system to that with extra bells and whistles. And I mean, look at some of the things they're also considering, which they haven't added in yet, but they're considering. Because then once you've got the system in place, you can tinker with it, can't you? You can add other
Hmm.
things. And there's one on there, walking your dog without a leash. Now, what if you're walking your dog? I've got two dogs, for instance. I'm walking along. I've had it one time when the lead has snapped. So I'm chasing my dog because it's running off. Is that my fault now? Or is it
Well,
the
yeah,
dog that's
sort
pulled
of.
too much?
You
You see
see,
what I mean? It's
you're
like,
not,
whoa, things
not,
happen.
you're not selling me on the negatives, man. Because for me, one of the things that I come from is, look, it's black. If you've accused me of being very black and white, it's like your leash should be strong, and if it isn't strong enough, then you got issues. Why
Yeah.
isn't your leash strong enough?
Well, do you know what? I bought one
Hmm?
from the internet and I only had it a week and it snapped. So
You
is
should
the
be
leash
careful
the
where you
problem?
buy free. You
Well,
should be careful where you buy.
exactly.
So
So
what you do now is you sue. You are going to get hammered, but then you can turn around and sue whoever sold it to you, and they'll get hammered too, and also owe you some money.
yeah, but will I then lose my black mark or whatever it is
No,
for walking a dog without a
no,
leash? Because I've
no.
done that.
Yeah, you've done it. You've done it. You got to suffer. You should have been more careful. Next time, have two leashes. See?
I mean, the smoking in a non-smoking zone, I get that because we've had the law. Jaywalking, that's already
We don't
in
have that in the UK,
America.
do we?
No, we don't in the UK, but they have it in America. But now they're thinking of introducing it in China. Whereas, strangely, in New York, they've actually got rid of it. New York's the first city in the States that's because jaywalking was a rule.
Jaywalking, I don't mind. Cyclists riding their blooming cycles on the road. That okay, back in the old days, you see, I'm actually improving. Back in the old days, I said, look, bring out the guillotine. But once I can once I can say with my camera, and then that person's social credit score goes all the way down. Why are you on the road? Oh, because the government hasn't provided us with cycle lanes. Well, the government is telling you something then, isn't it? Don't cycle. The hell? And
What if they've been told to cycle to lose weight, to feel better about
yeah, they
themselves?
meant in the gym, man. And even on the flipping road in front of all the cars. You're trying to do
I mean,
uh, fair and conformity. Does it would it create a culture of fair and conformity, or would it just be an opportunity for us to virtue signal that we are all conforming? Would it really be fair, or would we be showing off?
hmm. Well,
Mm-hmm.
there is an element of that, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember when, well, I guess it's not really linked, but do you remember the ASBOs in the
I
UK?
wasn't here for the Asbos. This was in the
ASBOs.
80s, wasn't it?
No. It was Theresa May in her government.
Theresa May.
Theresa May's
How
government.
did I miss that
ASBOs.
then? I know
Yeah.
what Asbos are, but really?
Yeah. Remember they were given out to people antisocial
Antisocial
behavioral
behavioral
order,
orders.
wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And people had it as a badge of honor. Oh, yeah, I got one of these. You know, yeah, it's like it was flipped on its head rather than it being a negative thing that you were marked by this. Some people thought, well, hey, I've done something bad enough to warrant one of these.
And
Hey,
obviously, all the
so
girls find that, oh, he's a real rebel.
yeah,
And then he
rebel, and
becomes,
it worked in his favor.
it,
Yeah.
it works. So you actually have a social credit score of minus 1,000. And they go, ooh, wow, he's a rebel. Ooh, I like him. He's a bad boy. And
Yeah.
then, so if you go too far, isn't that, are we not even talking about what's it called, checks and balances? That if you, with government overreach, if you overdo it,
Yeah.
you'll lose its efficacy.
But then the point is, how can you, in China in particular, how could you challenge it? I mean, argument's sake, the point of this, we're asking the question, A, what is China's version? And should we bring something like that here and implement a similar thing? I mean, and we get to the top of the hour, so we do actually need to answer this. I'm not so sure because whilst there are some benefits, clearly, for businesses in particular, that the business is operating in a particular manner. It's an A-listed business, blah blah blah. It's too simplistic
Mm.
because some bits could be not relevant to that business, and that business could be unfairly tarnished. So, for instance, let's say a business credit score is on how good, they get more points based on how good they deal with the end user, for instance. That could be good. They get credit ratings for that. They're making their users feel great. They get high points for that. But there's some business that don't have end users. They only deal with other businesses. So how would it work then? So,
Mhm.
it's not an
We'd
easy
have to
solution.
evolve. We'd have to evolve the solution, and Chinese are evolving this it is their want to do. WONT. It is their want to do. That's what they like to do. They like to evolve things over a long period of time. So they've started it, but it will grow and it will mature. Now, when you ask me what my solution is, I will tell you, and I think it might surprise you, but certainly there are, like as with anything, swings and roundabouts, pluses and minuses. It's a question of, can we create a system where we guarantee there will be pluses and with very, very minimal negatives, if any. There's no such system without any negative. But can we think of a way where we can implement something so that it's really good and everyone gets to enjoy its benefits?
Well, in a way, isn't that what laws are? Laws are there to set boundaries on how we behave,
Mm.
and the less laws and the less restrictive they are, the more freedoms we have. But what could be looked at is more laws, perhaps, but also reviewing the laws that were there before that are no longer fit for purpose.
Yeah.
That tends to not happen. We have a statute book where we add new laws.
No, yeah.
So we
We've
keep
discussed this.
closing, yeah, we keep closing the freedom part
Yeah, but we
ever.
discussed this, you and I, and
Yeah.
we came. I came up with a solution, and
Okay.
I've not found my Nobel Prize yet.
Time limited laws.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. It's automatic, and it needs to be renewed by Parliament every 20 years or something.
Yeah. Agreed. I think it's a great idea.
Otherwise, it's just gone,
Yeah. Agreed.
and that would work.
Yeah.
So how close are we to the top of the hour?
We've got another few minutes, so if you've got something else you wish
No,
to.
I actually want to deliver my verdict on this.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, the point is going back to this system. I I think that there are benefits. There are benefits for society if there was more structure around some elements so that people couldn't get away with things.
Hmm.
But that would mean
Flaky on a Tinder date.
flaky on a Tinder date.
Flaky, meaning not showing up. So you've invited her out. She said yes. You get dressed, you go there, you sit down, you wait and you wait and you wait, and she never shows up and she never sends you a message or anything.
So she ghosts you.
Oh yeah, she's just gone. She just
That's the
flaked on
term,
you.
isn't it?
Well, she ghosts you if you can't get in touch with her, but maybe she doesn't even ghost you. Maybe she just didn't show up. And then you'll have to catch up to her a couple of days later. And, well, what the hell happened to you? And she'll give you some silly
Went to the wrong restaurant. I
reason.
sat there on my own and you didn't
Yeah.
show up.
Sorry, my mum fell ill or whatever, blah blah blah. Really, she probably found somebody else to go out with that was more handsome than you or whatever, or richer.
Well,
So,
that's you're blacklisting her without knowing the facts.
well, this is stories from the horror side of Tinder, so it's
Ugh.
happened to
Well, then why do you
thousands
think
of.
why do you think there should be rules on that? See,
No,
that's civil liberties
I'm
again.
saying this social credit score thing. She flakes. One person flake. You don't forget, you might just be losing something like 20 points. So one person flakes is 20 points. You go, yeah, it doesn't matter. Then you flake on another person, it's 40 points. Then you flake. So eventually, the 800 points, that's all you flaking on so many people.
Okay.
Eventually, it's going to tell, and eventually, you're going to have to stop doing it.
I get that. I get that. I mean, some of them, like I said, some of the things on here could
Hmm.
could work, but how would you police it? Implementation of it, it would be
Well,
intrusion because you'd have to have a phone that
he's sitting
intruded
there.
and listened to everything.
He's sitting there. He's sitting there by himself at the restaurant. He makes a complaint on the social credit score site, and it just checks the cameras. Yeah, she didn't show up. She didn't show up. Or it even just looks at her phone. Where was she? She wasn't at that restaurant where she said she would be. She was in this other guy's apartment with her clothes off. I don't
But
know how to know that
because
her clothes were
but
off,
free but
but
free
but it's not.
society, free society should allow this. That's the whole point. You don't
Oh,
want to be
she's
so
free to flake.
regulated.
She's free to flake, but she's not free of the consequences. A free society doesn't mean you're not free of the
Yeah,
consequences.
okay. Okay. I get that. Right, we're at the top of the hour. So do you want to sort of sum up what's your view on this social credit system and should we implement something
I think the
similar?
social credit system is a load of bollocks. That's what I think. And anybody who wants to implement it is a nutter. And we really should bring out the guillotine and dispatch that person with alacrity because you're bonkers. What do you mean? What kind of utter nonsense is that? It's rubbish. Yes, we would love to have a robust way of dealing with people who fart in lifts. Not like my friend and colleague Tony did. That was injudicious. He should have known better. It's like, have you ever farted in your car and then somebody comes to the window and wants you to wind down? And you're thinking to yourself, oh, what the hell, man?
Your space. So yeah, that's different. Yeah.
Right? But all the same,
Uh,
someone you didn't expect just, oh,
do you
come
know
on,
what?
man.
I'm actually surprised at your sum up, actually. I thought you'd be quite into this. I think it's a terrible idea.
It's a horrible idea.
And it's too draconian. It's
Thank
too
you.
taken
No,
control. It's
it's
just
Big
too
Brother.
much.
All
It
you're
is
doing is,
total Big Brother.
see, the thing is, it will start off well or relatively well, and then it will grow and morph into something awful.
Exactly
That's the
scope
problem.
creep, and
Yeah,
it will be just abysmal. So
absolutely.
I'm surprised that they've let it continue, but that's the problem with China. You can't really go against what the people in power want to implement. That's the problem with a non-democratic system. You, the people, cannot go, look, we don't like that. We want it changed. They have to be subservient to what the people in power tell
I
them
don't
to
think you're
do.
correct. I think we need to bring somebody on. I've watched many videos of people who've gone to China and they don't have your take on it. And I know
Hmm.
what you think of my main man, President Putin, and Russia. So I'm not sure you're quite right with the Chinese either. But unlike with Russia, I don't know that much about China. So
Okay. Right. Unfortunately, we've hit the top of the hour. So if you've loved this episode, please hit subscribe, but stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexpected twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tayo, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.